discrimination in entertainment, and you're talking about one Guyana. When the Ministry of Culture keep the big shows, one set of girls and banner. Cause I done fed up, you done fed up, he done fed up, she done fed up, we done fed up, the people fed up. You're hiding corruption inside the cup, look how evil set up. The people fed up. Every picture you take and promise you make, everything you do is about clout. Then you come into me for I shake your hand, there's nothing to smile about. Corruption inside every sector, but when it comes to them they send you. Try investigate efficiency, right? Go talk to Barrett and Sue. Cause I done fed up, you done fed up, he done fed up, she done fed up, we done fed up, the people fed up. You're hiding corruption inside the cup, look how evil set up.
Yeah, my name is Jacinty Caldata Francis Vietnam, and since 1965 I become a voter, and I always place my X next to the cup. And what they are doing today, I can't take it. So I have no more vote to give to PPP anymore. I'm not going to vote anymore no more. If they have to lose by one vote, they're losing it by data. I have none.
You could probably, on the maritime area, give Venezuela a channel out to the sea. So
there and fabricate that. Unless you say who the person is, I can't comment on anonymous people.
Okay, well, let's talk about specific individuals. What is your relationship with Mr. Su Jurong?
Su? Oh, Su?
I thought you come and telling you support Electoral, support me in the next election. President Daddy is one person who's always remembered me. From since he was a minister, he's always remembered me. He's been a friend to me.
Yeah, my name is Jacinty Caldata Francis Vietnam, and since 1965 I become a voter, and I always place my X next to the cup. And what they are doing today, I can't take it. So I have no more vote to give to PPP anymore. I'm not going to vote anymore no more. If they have to lose by one vote, they're losing it by data.
I thought you come and telling you support Electoral, support me in the next election. President Daddy is one person who's always remembered me. From since he was a minister, he's always remembered me. He's been a friend to me. And I'm giving you a second term. I said,
So when these vagabonds talk like that, you just have to repeat, because they're not making any sense. Those vagabonds, they're not doing anything for nation building. They're not doing anything for progress of a nation. It is self, just hustling. They are just hustlers, a pack of hustlers. And so when you hear the hustlers talking and trying to justify a situation, just know that this is what they're talking. That's what, and that is what the budget is all about. Even the so-called finance minister, Ashni Singh, that is what he said throughout the budget hearing. Nothing, absolutely nothing made sense. So suddenly now every newborn baby getting 100,000 now. Every newborn baby is getting 100,000 now. Well, y'all know what I'm going now. Walla walla bing bang. Who in sign up with a baby? Go in and sign up with a baby now at the Georgetown Public Hospital. Right now, the line is long at the Georgetown Public Hospital. Long. Waiting. Fathers who in care whether there is jacket baby or whatever it is. Jacket, what is it? This jacket is it? Whatever. The line, right now, if you guys go in front of Georgetown Hospital, you will see a long, long line. Men waiting to sign the child's birth certificates. So you know how birth certificates used to be before, right? Some of you can relate to that, right? It usually says, for example, let's just imagine that this is a barn, people. We imagine that this is a birth certificate. Usually it has the mother's name, Rupati or Basmati or Waveney or Deborah or Carla, whatever, right? But the father's name sometimes will be not stated. And at one point I said, wait, how come everybody, lots of people in Guyana, their father's last name is the same, not stated. Father's last name, not stated. But anyways, now this whole thing with 100,000 for newborn babies. 100,000 for newborn babies. Damn, I should have been in Guyana now, bye. Good evening to all of you. Welcome again to Straight Up. My name is Mark Benja. We're not talking about the budget. For me, it's a waste of time. It's just another waste of hours, wasting of people's time, propaganda. They already know what the budget is about. The budget is to give hundreds of millions of dollars to themselves, friends, and cronies. That is what it's about. Nothing for the poor people. Absolutely nothing for the poor people. Let's see here. Mary Figueroa is saying good night. Okay. Hi, Mary. Good night to you. But Zamal is saying here 1 trillion, 10 trillion, 100 trillion equals trillion, right? Children. People will still keep punishing under the PPP regime. Corruption galore. Public servant might get to 7% in 2027 if the PPP still remain in office. Well, that is why y'all got to work hard. As them people from Section C, where is it, on the East Coast and so forth, or wherever it is, they say you got to work hard to make sure that the PPPC doesn't go back into office. And we're not talking about collecting or starting some dotish, handing out of black chicken. We're going to talk about the black chicken. Just imagine you get a plate of food and you just get your food. And you get your plate of food and you look inside and it's black chicken name, black chicken. You know, black barbecue chicken, all manner of things, black chicken. Everything the PPP is doing to corrupt. Well, some of you guys say, all right, James Bond is a hustler. We know that. He's a soup drinker. All right, good. The signs are there, right? But James Bond might be hustling them because everybody taking them for Paku, right? Everybody taking the PPP for Paku. The ordinary man in the street, they're bluffing the way. You know how many of them saying behind the scene? Ben Sharp, you think I get time with the PPP? The PPP is a criminal party. They know it. They're just swearing those Pagali guys in the PPP. Irpanali is a Paku, Pagli. And the guy's probably Pakuing them to get a little something, get a little bly, as they would say. But when they go into the voting booth, trust me, they're not voting for PPP. Maybe Bond is going to be doing that because y'all already know Bond. Why y'all fretting over the job for? Y'all already know what he's about. He's skinny. He already skinny himself up. He's skinny carried up a while now. So why y'all bothering yourself, man? You know, Uncle Sam and them might. All right, let me keep my mouth shut. All right, good. Hey, what else is happening? Francine Cruz and others, Zamal, Paulette, and others. Have you guys heard? And Brenda, we get so many Brenda Bailey, Brenda KC, Brenda Braithwaite, holy smoke, a set of Brenda, Desiree Smart, Felix, Rhonda Lane, good night to you. Now, how many of you guys who are now about to get baby in the United States of America or wherever else are upset that you're not getting babies in Guyana? Because if you were getting baby in Guyana, $100,000 right out the bat, $100,000 for you guys, right? Guyana is not a real place. You have a crossing government there, right? And everybody's sleeping. Everybody's sleeping. Trust me. Who could recognize? Have you recognized this woman here? Sleeping in Parliament, like they don't sleep at night. You would expect Angel and Otisha and them to don't sleep. I mean, to knock out during the course of the day. We got to say hi to Angel and Otisha and them, right? Because they tell it like it is. They don't hide their business. They tell it like it is. But these people hide their business. Who could? Look at this time. Look at the time of the day. This woman sleeping in Parliament. Just take a look. She looks like this. Sorry about that, the operator. The design of the QC Western Wing, you can just bet she's dreaming about that. Look at the outfit. Look at the building. Look back at the outfit. Look back at the building. Right? But operator, I don't know what you have for us. Wayne Caesar is going to be on shortly. But I don't know what you have for us, operator. Operator, tell us what's happening here.
They still want more. The more them get it, and the more them want it. Lord no. Some will even try to take his brother's life, yeah, just to achieve a bit. Talking about hard drugs, yeah. Gonna let the love to them set the floor. They still want more. The more them get it, and the more them want it. Lord no. Some will even try to take his brother's life, yeah, just to achieve a bit. Talking about hard drugs, yeah. Gonna let the love to them set the floor.
All right. I don't know why they're sleeping. I just don't know why they're sleeping, but that song. How many of you guys know that song? How many of you guys think that song is appropriate? Anyways, Wayne Caesar, how are you doing? You don't come on this show. Let me just right off the bat, Wayne Caesar. You do not come on this show and sleep. Do not sleep on this show, man. Good night to you, sir. Wake up. How are you?
Good evening, Mark. I'm doing well, and a pleasant good evening to the viewing audience. Yes, it's TGIF. It's Friday.
Oh, yeah. Thank God it's Friday indeed. Good to see you, Wayne Caesar. And to all of our listeners there, good to see all of you. I know you love that song, and John and all, every single one. Marla Alicock, everyone. That song is, I don't know why you guys are laughing. Obviously, you love the song, right? Before we get into business again, let's dedicate it to them.
They still want more. The more them get it, and the more them want it. Lord no. Some will even try to take his brother's life, yeah, just to achieve a bit. Talking about hard drugs, yeah. Gonna let the love to them set the floor. Talking about hard drugs.
All right, hard drugs indeed. No, we're not saying that that's what they're doing there. I don't know why they fell asleep. I don't know if it's pharmaceutical drugs. I don't know if it's Cenapod. I don't know what happened. I just don't know. I'm not implying anything else at all. I just love that tune, and we have it there, right there. The Robeson Ben is sleeping. He's in La La Land. He's probably thinking of David Patterson, who won his case, because they accused David Patterson of some bangle and this and that. But he won his case. Everybody winning their cases now. The police officers with Paul Slow, I believe, won their cases. Dion Bascom won his cases. Congrats to them. Congrats to all of them. David Patterson won his cases. Congrats to all of them. The PPP just losing their cases. They're losing every single thing. They're losing. Wayne Caesar, I don't know. Again, what's happening? Did you pick up anything on the budget? Or are you going back Guyana and make baby for 100,000? What's happening?
No, Mark, I'm not going back to Guyana for that purpose. Yes, I saw the new budget. The new budget is a 1.3 trillion dollar budget. It's approximately $200+ million larger than the 2024 budget.
Which was expected because they weren't going to go lower than last year's budget.
Right. Yeah. Absolutely.
What's your take?
Absolutely, they would not have gone. But I see you have the picture up there with the parliamentarians, and don't just blame Robeson Ben and Prayer Mani Chan. Everybody there looks extremely tired. They look like if they've been up for the last
every one of them. Every one of them look. Yeah.
Putting the final touches on the one-sided budget that they read today.
The young, the old, look, what's his name? That chap, he's sleeping too. The Minister of Youth, Sport, and whatever culture. Mm-hmm. Every one of them sleeping. They're bored. They're upset. Or is it they're dreaming about money and contracts? What's the next contract? But look, this is Parliament. Why would somebody dress like this? Take a look. Why? Forget about Robeson Ben. He's always a little stinker. But take a look at, is this how they dress? Is this how they walk into Parliament? Have you seen this while you were in Guyana or even outside of Guyana, Wayne, that people go to Parliament like that?
Well, Mark, look, this doesn't surprise me. I've never seen it before, but it just shows you where the work of the people stands. It takes a back seat when it comes to the people of Guyana, or she should have been up and alert. You know, she is sleeping in Parliament. You know, it's shameful. And the PPP is going to look at this as if it's nothing. There's nothing wrong with this. She was tired. She went to sleep. That's going to be their rationale behind this nonsense.
All of them, not just Priya. All of them. Look at the bunch. Look at the bunch of Pakus. All of them sleeping. They're snoring. They're thinking of contracts. They're thinking of how to make money. They're thinking of what sort of next cash grant. All these things they're thinking. They're not thinking about the people's business. So what do you take away from the budget? How do you think the small man in Port Morant, Blackbush Polar, Philippi, Cromarty, Manchester, Linden, whether Wisma, Plaisance, Georgetown, you think they're getting anything from this 1.2 trillion?
Mark, well, look, all the details of the budget is not out as yet, but I can tell you off the top of my head that 13.3 billion was allocated towards Gaisuko, you know, and that's very, very interesting. When I would have called, and many of us would have called for the cash grant to be built into this year's budget, I haven't heard anything about the cash grant. And you see, there's where Guyanese are missing the boat, because after 5 years of oil extraction, you get a measly, $100,000 cash grant, and everybody's jumping and screaming. You're just receiving a little cut of your own money. Nothing is on the table for this year. Jack Dio said we're going to see. Periodically, we're going to see. Could you believe that? That receiving a cash grant for all Guyanese is in the hands of Barry Jack Dio, when this should have been something that should have been plated on, tabled in Parliament and voted upon.
Mr. Caesar, they are not concerned at all about the small man. It's always about corruption. It's always about how they are going to put their hands into the cookie jar, how they are going to walk away stealing. It's corruption, 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 as Miss Casey is saying here, Yolanda, Andrea, everybody, Yanet Elias, Victor Ben, everybody is just saying it's corruption, corruption. These people who fell asleep there, it's not just because they're tired, Mr. Caesar. It's the deeds. It's the deeds. Get them with it. They're right there now. But luckily for some, they woke up back from their slumber. Nothing for the small man. Almost $16 billion back into Gaisuko. almost $16 billion back into Gaisuco. And guess what, Mr. Caesar? Gaisuco is ailing. It's dying. It's almost dead. But almost 16 billion. You ask them what they got for bauxite workers or what they have for public servants and so forth. Absolutely nothing. Nothing at all. The security sector, what they're going to give, a couple $1 billion, but Gaisuco get more than everybody else.
Yes.
What else? What other takeaway, Mr. Caesar, before we get to that? Take a look at Priya Manik-Chan. We are told that the reason she covered up like that is that she was asked that she cannot walk into parliament. These people, something is wrong with them. Just imagine we are told, mind you, that Priya walked into parliament like this. Now, come on. Come on. Now, I'm not sure if this is Priya or not. Priya has to say whether this is her. Priya has to say whether this is her or not. And this is the reason why she basically covered up and fell asleep. But let's go back to this here now. Assuming this is Priya. Now, we're not 100% sure that it's Priya or not. She's going to have to say whether that's her. But something isn't adding up, Mr. Caesar. Something isn't adding up. Let's move that for a second. Let's get back to the budget. How do you think the small man and woman there in Guyana are feeling that they're about? Nothing in this 1.2 or whatever $1 trillion budget, nothing is in it for them. Absolutely nothing. What are you hearing from the ground?
Yeah, well, Mark, look, from what I'm hearing on the ground, the people don't expect any different. You know, they expect the same thing. Look, the economy would have grown some 43% in 2024. And we have
that's according to them. That's according to them.
Right.
If it grew, where is it growing?
Right. That's where I'm heading.
Go ahead.
That's where I'm heading. You're not seeing that trickle down effect to the small man. So that's a thing about economics, Mark, that I have questions about, you know, how we do these measurements, because I feel like if there should be somewhat of a human element, the quality of life that humans are experiencing in that economy should be somewhat adjointed to that full report. Okay. So the economy has grown, yes, some 43%, but yes, we have not seen the trickle-down effect. Inflation continues to hit the Guyanese people. Food security continues to hit the Guyanese people. So we're not seeing the impact of the overall growth of this nation. Okay, but I must say the PPP and their people, they are seeing tremendous growth. They are enriching themselves. You know, whenever they give 10% raise to public servants, they take a 10% raise also. And the quality of work, Mark, is very low. The country continues to be mismanaged from an economic and a financial perspective. So this year, with the budget being what, $200 million higher, I don't expect it to really impact the small man. But this is an election year, Mark. This is an election year, and we're seeing a lot of strange things. But I hope the Guyanese people would have wisened up. This thing where Barra Jagdeo and them trying to play nice, going into village, oh, we are giving you this and we are giving you that. Mark, that's a culture for your vote.
No, one second.
Culture for your vote.
Stick a pin there.
All right.
Wayne Caesar, every single Guyanese know that. The smallest child knows that the PPP is basically about propaganda. They do not care about the people. They also know that they will be kicked out of office. And don't be fooled. They know it. That is why they put into the budget $1 trillion+ budget, so that they can go out there and spill the money all over. They have 10 months and they are going to spill the money. They're going to get cash grant. The folks at the cathedral, they will get cathedral cash grant. They will get cash grants for the Gaisuco workers. They will get cash grants for every single, it is now a cash grant country, not just a contract where friends, one family, one household got like about 10 different contracts in Picne, Mamu name, Aji name, Aja name, Pua name, Mami name, Didi name. Everybody get contract. Every single body get contract as long as they're connected to the PPP regime. and they go into communities like Agricola, and they give them a couple of $100,000 Guyana dollars to do what you think? Clean gutter, clean drains. But their friends and families getting the hundreds of millions of dollars of contract, billions of dollars of contracts. That is what's happening in the country. I don't know what's going on in your village, Plaisance, but people in Plaisance are complaining. They're crying out. Cost of living is I, as the lady say. And she is correct. But yet you mentioned earlier, based on the reports that Guyana, what is it, has grown, what, 46 point something?
43%, yes.
43%?
Yes, 43%.
This is how it has grown, Wayne. This is how it has grown.
Oh, Jesus Christ. If cost of living double, I don't know what happened. A pound of sugar is $300 already. Flour, everything gone up. Everything just raising. You gotta give a $40,000 for buy good ration. You gotta get 3 man now. A weekend man, a monthly man, and a fortnight man.
Man, no more. TikTok going. But Mr. Caesar,
Mark,
you're making a point. Go ahead, sir.
Mark, there's one other thing I wanna pull. What that I saw in this budget. $100,000 allocated to every child in Guyana born in 2025. Good idea? Good idea. Yes, I agree with that. But before we go allocating $100,000.
So wait a minute. Wait a minute. The child has to be born anytime in 2025?
I believe, well, you have to make that retroactive to children. You said in the year 2025.
One second.
Okay.
Hey, Rosita? Yeah, coming to Guyana. Coming to Guyana next month. 100,000 for the baby. All right, good. Bye-bye. Sorry about that, Wayne. Go ahead.
Yes.
You said for 2025, all babies born getting 100,000.
Commencing in 2025. When you say something is commencing in 2025, I take it from the 1st of January.
Elections, right? Babies. Elections, yes. Babies.
Yes. All right. That being said, Mark, that being said, there are so many young women that would have died in child's birth. That's one of the things we need to be taking care of. Rather than saying, every child born $100,000, we need to stop having the mothers dying. We need to take care of that. We need to up our health system from an overall perspective. Okay, that's what we need to do. And stop talking about 100,000. I agree with the $100,000 thing, but there's more to that. Let's start protecting mothers. Let's start doing a better job in the hospitals. Let's open up back the nursing schools and start training nurses. If we didn't close down those nursing school, Mark, we would have never been short 700 nurses.
They're not concerned about that. They're not concerned about citizens. A lot of people who live outside of Guyana, who have never visited Guyana, they know nothing about Guyana. They are the ones who are getting the cushy jobs. And the PPP is facilitating that. And let me just say to Francine Cruz, please, let me just say to Francine Cruz, we are here to be respectful of each other. How the heck Francine Cruz got to the point, and sorry, Miss Cruz, that I got to use that to say that, Miss Caesar, you planning to get pregnant. Does Caesar look like Kwame? Does he look like Jack Dale? Does he look like those guys? Francine, I find you're getting out of hand right now. Please do not go that line. Let us respect each other. Thank you, ma'am. Go ahead, Mr. Caesar. Sorry about that.
Yeah, no. It's all about putting protections in place to the people of Guyana. Our healthcare system across the country is way below, what a developing country like Guyana should look like. We call ourselves the fastest growing economy in the world. Let it reflect. Let it reflect on the quality of life for Guyanese. Let it respect. And these are the issues, Mark, that the people of Guyana should be voting to. Okay? And rather than come Thursday, you're having this old big propaganda meeting on Thursday, press conference on Thursday. let's get down to some real debates. Let's start debating the issues, man. All right, so the people can see those who have a vision for them, those who have a vision for Guyana, those who have an economic compass, all right, and those who have a proper business plan for this country.
They don't have that. Like Vashti is saying, Vashti Megnat is saying, fastest growing with thieves. Can't disagree with that. Fastest growing with thieves. That is what it is. That is what it is. Wayne, I have a question. We'll get back, and we want members of our audience to also participate in what they think about that. But before we do that, we'll take a short break. We want to wake these people up in Parliament, and it could be a variety of things. We don't know what it is, Mr. Caesar. We just don't know what it is. It could be whatever.
Rum till I die is a rum till I die. She tell me she don't love me, and that's the reason why. Rum till I die, it's rum till I die. She tell me she don't love me, and that's the reason why. Rum till I die, rum till I die. She tell me she don't love me, and that's the reason why.
Now again, we took a quick break. This is not implying anything. It is just what it is. I kind of like that song, right, Rajan Bim? I kind of like it indeed. Bonita Eliza, Elise Parker, and others. All right. So, Mr. Caesar, rum till them die, or whoever. Let's touch on this here now in a serious matter. According to the Village Voice News, and you guys go to the Village Voice, pick up the news, find out what's happening. Justice Claudette Singh rules against biometrics for 2025 general and regional elections. So Claudette Singh rules. She rules. She gets to make that decision whether there's going to be biometrics or not. Just imagine, Claudette Singh gets to make that decision. Any one of you in the audience, are you guys surprised at all? I'll check your comments out, but Mr. Caesar, your take, please, sir.
To have Claudette Singh, such an important issue like this, okay, to have Claudette Singh solely make a unilateral decision with regards to biometrics, Mark, is quite shameful. And let me just pivot 1 second. That, after the elections of 2020, Mark, okay, why is it that we are now discussing biometrics in 2025 when we are approaching, okay, another election cycle? Why is it that we're talking about? That's number one, Mark.
Deliberate.
This is something that should have been taken care of expeditiously, since after the 2020 elections, it would have left the Guyanese people, in disarray. Everybody at each other's throat, based on the results, based on how everything went down with the 2020 elections. This is shameful. It is obvious. There should be a court case involved here. Look, Mark, you're talking about no biometrics. You're talking about the same voters list. Come on, this is despicable. This is despicable. It is unacceptable. This is standards below the lowest standards that they could ever be. Okay? It's ridiculous. It should not happen. Claudette Singh should be ashamed of herself. Look how many budgets, Mark. Look how many budgets we had since the 2020 elections. You're telling me that they could not have allocated monies to fix GCOM? No, Mark. This is a corrupt scheme. You understand me? All the stakeholders that came into Guyana and helped to make the decision to put the PPP into power, You understand me? They are playing their roles right here. I'm not going to sit here and not call out names. This is obvious, Mark. This is obvious, and external forces are playing a massive role here. They are playing a massive role, and I want to say, if not on your program, on my program, their names will be called. It's not going to go on call. This is wrong, Mark. This is wrong. It's total disregard to the everyday Guyanese citizen. Total disregard to them. Over to you, sir.
Thank you so much. Absolute disregard. I don't know what to say because it is so blatant, the corruption, and this is the perception out there by majority of Guyanese that GCOM is indeed corrupt. And the allegations are that the chairman of the Guyana Elections Commission seems to be turning her eyes away from the massive level of corruption. Now, I don't know whether she's turning her eyes away or she's aware of these things. It's for you guys out there to formulate your opinion as to whether she is corrupt, whether she knows about the corruption. It's not for me to say at all, but it's not good. What we're hearing out there, man in the streets, it's just not good. And so tonight, since it's Friday night, we'll take another break. And usually the songs that we play here, these songs are not directed to any particular individual on the screen, but it's just a song that we select so that it can play. If you guys want to connect the people to the song, it's quite okay. We'll be right back.
How are you? Okay. Thank you. I can hear you, man. Lord of mercy. Uptown posse man, them love fresh. I want to hear you say yes. I want to hear you say yes. I miss a downtown posse man, them love fresh. I want to hear you say yes. I want to hear you say yes. I miss it all over bed from morning run go holla fresh. Go holla fresh, go holla fresh. All over bed from evening run go holla fresh. Go holla fresh, go holla. You know you wake up this morning and you don't holla fresh. Evening pass and you don't holla. Water me bum, hey, yo is not dirty red water come now. Pick up a ram, pick up a soap and run go holla. How are you say? Okay, thank you. I can hear you, man. Lord of mercy. Uptown posse man, them love fresh. I want to hear you say yes. I want to hear you say yes. I miss a downtown posse man, them love fresh. I want to hear you say yes. I want to hear you say yes. I miss it all over bed from morning run go holla fresh. Go holla fresh, go holla fresh. All over bed from evening run go holla fresh. Go holla fresh, go holla. You know you wake up this morning and you.
All right, welcome back. Just had to rush off for a quick minute. Those of you who are familiar with the songs, it is what it is, and I hope our operator will remove Claudette Singh. It's just a waste of time because Claudette Singh is no longer Singh. She's swinging in favor of the PPP. So whatever the PPP says, that's it. That's exactly what it is. It's so disappointing. And you're correct, Mr. Caesar, that in the elections year, this is what they're coming to say to the populace, that look, they can't have, and Claudette Singh came right out. She knew exactly what she was doing. We'll ask some pastors and so forth to pray for these people, pray for them. We have a show every morning, a religious show. It's a fantastic show. You guys should tune into it with Pastor Greenwich and his beautiful wife. Tune in. I don't know. Wayne Caesar, what else is happening in the country? What else is happening in the budget? Talk to us, please, sir.
Yeah, Mark, I want to add a little more to what I just said because, you know, I'm just really fired up tonight. I'm really upset tonight. Listen, Barry Jagdeo was quoted as saying that, you know, if Irfan Ali was not, you know, sworn in as president, that Guyana would be ungovernable. Now, we know, right, that Barry Jagdeo, and I'm saying this, we know that the PPP is controlling GCOM. There's no doubt about that. Okay? 5 years, no clean voters list. Now they're saying no biometrics. Basically, you're forcing all opposition stakeholders to go into the 2025 elections with a bloated list. Okay. Now, when those results come out, because Mark, if the PPP was able to rig the elections outside of government, you just figure what they're going to do. Sitting in government. And let's remember this. It's not just about elections. It's about the stakes. The stakes are extremely high. Okay. Now, you come out of the 2025 elections, rigging it and coming out victorious. My question to the PPP, do you expect Guyana to be governable? That's my question to you, because you said in 2020, if Irfan Ali was not sworn in, Barrett Jagdeo said this, Mark Benchcap, that Guyana would be ungovernable. So my question to the PPP is, after they finish rigging the 2025 elections and it come out in their favor, my question to them is, should Guyana be governable? Should Guyana be governable? Because I'll say this to the opposition, you'll be silly if you allow Guyana to be governable. Being disenfranchised all the way through the process, you allow Guyana to be governable. You would be a complete failure to your supporters. A complete failure. That's why, Mark, until there's a clean voters list, and if elections has to be delayed a little bit to get biometrics, I prefer to see that. I prefer to see free and fair elections in Guyana. This is ridiculous. It should never be allowed. You call this democracy, Mr. Benchcap? This is far from democracy. Over to you, sir.
Thank you so much, Mr. Caesar. I'm sure the people in Guyana, they're watching on. They know what needs to be done. They will do what is necessary. That is form part of their constitutional rights to not be bullied at all. And we hope that those who are in the opposition can step their game up to do much more. Folks, if you're now joining us, it's 16 minutes after 9 o'clock. We'll give Wayne a quick minute to calm down. And because it's not, I'm not saying that he should calm down in a negative sense. He's worked up for the right reason, because the PPP believes that they can rig the elections again and that everything is going to be hunky-dory. And now nobody is saying that people should broke up anything. I'm not saying it. Wayne is not saying it. We're not saying it. But all Wayne is suggesting is the same thing that Barra Jagdeo suggested, that the country, listen to Jagdeo.
Right across Ghana, when the ministers of Granger or Nagamutu come here after the 21st of March, you say to them, walk behind them, chase them out, they're going to be illegal. Say to them, you're illegal. Free up the country, you're undemocratic. They're going to face a different situation right across the country.
Right. So if he can, if that numbskull, that knucklehead Jagdeo could tell people that they could face, the APNU AFC government will face a different situation right across the country. Those same words, Jagdeo should know, they will, if they do what they did in 2020, those same words will possibly come back to haunt him. Mr. Caesar, what else is happening in the country as we look around? People are starving. There are long lines, and the disrespect of the PPP to go around in Melanie and other places and give a couple black chickens, little small black chickens, and some Paku's knucklehead calling himself a lawyer, saying that bond or whatever, whether he's still a lawyer or not, I don't know, and so happy for some small black chickens. The chickens that have not been, properly injected or nothing at all. And they're giving those chickens out into certain community. Read between the lines what they're doing. Certain community. What is your take on what they're doing across the country while people are starving, sir?
Well, Mark, the whole distribution of the black chicken, the black chickens not immunized or anything being given out, particularly in African Guyanese communities, Mark. I guess that's a way of the install government telling Africans, here's a few chickens, you have $100,000 coming also. Let that be your generational wealth. You know, this is how you amass generational wealth, by doing this, you know, taking a few chickens from us, and you have your $100,000 cash grant. And Mark, let me just jump in a little bit on the $100,000 cash grant, because I've been speaking to people on the ground in Guyana, and this is a major issue, and I'm surprised that the vice president have not addressed this. I have been looking at how things have been working in the financial sector in Guyana, and I have been saying all the time that we have a circulation of money issue. There are people who are going to pick up pensions. There are people who are going to the bank and trying to withdraw money. The banks don't have money, amongst other things. The banks were never prepared for this cash distribution. They were never prepared. And that's to show you how much of a disconnect the PPP have with the financial sector in Guyana. That's to show how poor the planning was for this cash distribution. Now, they're going to be in la la land here when you look at it, because now you got to determine, are we going to print money or are we not going to print money? You just can't go ahead and print money like that, ladies and gentlemen. You just print money like this, straight up print money, you can cause tremendous inflation. Okay? You can cause prices to shoot up, and it's going to get worse than it is now. The value of that $100,000 would decrease tremendously. Okay? That's why you have to be careful how you print money. So the PPP didn't have a lock on all of these things before they announced and started the cash distribution. Like I said, the guys have poor economic compasses. All right? You need people like Winston Jordan, the kind of experts, you know, to come in and really work this thing. When you talk about the fastest growing economy, you need experts to be at the helm to make sure that the country is managed correctly from an economic and a financial perspective. To have those guys sitting on the sidelines is a disservice to Guyana. We are losing big time in the world market. Why? Because we don't have the experts going out there to bat for us. All right? That needs to change. That needs to change. And these are the types of things that I want the everyday Guyanese to understand. So when they're going out there and vote, they understand what they're voting for. All right? You can't, look, we're the fastest growing economy. We cannot come out losers. We cannot come out losers. This is a major opportunity for Guyana and its citizens. And they're seeing nothing from it. Ladies and gentlemen, we need to pivot before it is too late. Like I said, the stakes are tremendously high here. You cannot have the PPP sit in government for another 5 years. All right? You cannot have these people sit in government, keep tapping into the Natural Resource Fund, controls the whole board of the Natural Resource Fund. That meaning information, pertinent information, it's not available to the normal citizens. All right? Look at the census, for example. That is something that should have been released to the citizens. That should be public knowledge. Why is that being withheld? So when you guys look at this install regime and you talk about accountability and transparency, they lack badly in these areas. And that's not the type of government Guyana needs. So ladies and gentlemen, when I come and I harp and I get on, this is what I'm getting on about. We cannot fail. We cannot fail as a country. The PPP are failing Guyanese. You guys saw when Venezuela was encroaching on Essequibo, what happened? Everybody get on their plane, fly to Panama, and from Panama to Dubai. They left the Guyanese people there. Go bat for yourself. You guys sit down at home and you guys think that you actually have a government there. Come on, guys. I want you guys to wisen up and start thinking here. We got to think together. I will help you think. Let's think. All right? Let's think. We got to get serious. This is critical times. This is a crossroad election for Guyana. You know, we always call every election the mother of all elections. Well, I'm going to say that this one is it, because after this, I don't think the opposition is going to have the opportunity, okay, to fight like how they have the opportunity this year. The PPP is going to buy everything out. You see what they're trying to do? We call this, since after the 2020 elections, that the PPP will pay their way to power again. But Guyanese, wisen up for me, please. $100,000, 100,000 Guyana dollars, which equates to approximately 500 US, cannot compensate, ladies and gentlemen, for 5 years of oil extraction. Come on, man. Come on. Be real. All right? Your children still don't have proper and safe schools to go to. Okay? Robberies are up across the country. We're still having people executed from time to time. We have a whole lot of unsolved crimes. A whole lot of unsolved crimes that needs to be solved. I want the PPP to not forget that we have not forgotten about all the extrajudicial killings. We had a program earlier this week with Mr. Mark Anthony Benchcop and Mr. Rickford Burke, where they kind of dug into that. All right. We're going to continue to remind the Guyanese people of the atrocities of this government. Remember, 23 years. All you guys got in 23 years is a stadium. And a whole lot of mothers crying over coffins and caskets. That's what you got for your 23 years. Do not forget. I have not forgotten. Okay? And you guys on the ground definitely should not forget, because you guys lived through it. You guys lived through it. As I speak to people on the ground, they just keep reminding me of all these atrocities. Over to you, Mr. Benchcott.
Thank you so much. Wayne Caesar there, telling like it is. Do not be fooled, guys. Do not be fooled by the PPPC, their propaganda. They're going into communities. They're threatening people. Those 10 days workers, they're threatening those women. Some of those women are being sexually abused by PPP bigwigs. All manner of things they're doing. They're manipulating these workers, mainly women workers in rural areas. When they have rallies, so-called meetings, they're threatening those workers and forcing them to take their family, their entire family at these PPP propaganda meetings. They're giving them T-shirts to wear. All manner of things. It's corruption. Look at the people who are standing up, say that they're representing the PPP. Whether it's New Amsterdam, whether it's somewhere in Borbies, whether wherever, just take a look at them. They're hustlers. They are flat-foot hustlers. They don't mean anything good for the community. So chase all of them out, including the flat-foot hustlers them and the ones that holding up chicken now. The flat-foot hustler that's holding up chicken now. This is how disrespectful they are to Guyanese. But I'm breaking it down here now. This is how disrespectful they are to African Guyanese. They go into the community, and this is what they're distributing. Black chicken for black community. Black chicken. And the one that looked like the chicken, the main one that is bonding with the chicken, hold up the chicken and say, this is what is 400 chicken. 400 chicken seems like reparation for 400 years of slavery, forced slavery by our ancestors. And the PPPC now go in Melanie Damishana and they give 400 chickens and say, this is what you're worth. This is what African Guyanese are worth for 400 years of slavery in that country. This is the result. 400 chickens. When, I don't know, but we've got to go. But before we go, we got a brief closing remark from you, please. Earlier, we were questioning whether that's Priya or not. This is Priya.
Mm-hmm.
This is that. Mm-hmm. So it is Priya. It turns out that it is Priya. What are they doing with the hundreds of millions of dollars that they're making? Look at what's happening here. A size 14 she wears, apparently. Bigfoot, a Bigfoot woman. You know what I say about big. Anyways. But look at that. Disgraceful. Look, walk in and look. And look. Look, take a look. And then look. Something isn't right, Mr. Caesar. Something isn't right. And look, the speaker. Something isn't right. Either drugs in the food. I don't know. Something isn't right. Can we get your closing remarks, please, Mr. Caesar? Please, sir.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Mark, what you just depicted there, though, it just shows the amount of respect that Priya Manichan has for the parliament, which is none whatsoever. And in closing, I just want to touch a little bit on the Speaker of the House trying to dismiss the word corrupt and trying to have it removed. Okay.
They said it's not true. One second. They said it's not true, but go ahead.
Yeah, that shouldn't be. I think that word is needed, especially at this time when we're seeing how the PPP is mismanaging the country, the amount of monies that is going lost, that the PPP cannot account for. So the word corruption needs to be, associated with the guy in the parliament until we see different, Mark. Right now, we don't see different. We see high level and low level corruption across the country, especially with these contracts. These contracts is a horrible thing. It looks like if we need to develop a contract police force to police these contracts. And the PPP mustn't have anything to do with it whatsoever, because the contracts are just creating a lot of corruption. And in the 2025 budget that, we haven't gotten all the details yet. I would like to see what percentage of that budget, Mark, is going towards infrastructure, because I can't believe that we're going to keep going almost 70% of the budget, 64, whatever percent of the budget every year towards infrastructure. If you did it for the first 3 or 4 years or so, we should be cutting back and looking to hit other areas that we need to address, including the healthcare industry, better schools for our students. And then also you have the bill to pick up for the University of Guyana, which is, when you run it, is roughly $15 billion, so there's a lot to be done. But Mark, like I said earlier, and I'm going to say it again in closing, Mark, for Guyana to grow, the PPP definitely has to go. They're not the government. They're not equipped to deal with a fast-growing economy. The guys that sit there that you guys call ministers, they're not ministers. They are just crooks. It's just a bundle of crooks sitting there, trying to act like they are ministers. Thank you so much, Mark, for having me. Thank you, everyone, for listening. Mark, over to you.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate it. They are what they are, a bunch of crooks. That's what it is. 400 years of slavery. African ancestors built that country for 400 years of free labor. Built that country, free labor. And look what today. This is a shame and a disgrace that you have a Paku by the name of James Bond, a Paku standing up there collecting 400 black chickens that's not properly,
vaccinated.
Immunized, vaccinated. They have not. And they're taking these things and flooding the African Guyanese communities with these black chickens. We don't know where they got these black chickens from, whether these black chickens are black magic. We just don't know. You guys have to be extra careful, because these chickens might look like chickens, and then when they get a little older, they're peeping in your kitchen, you're cooking them, and next thing you know, the house shaking. Y'all got to be careful. Be extra careful, because they're sending those goons that are collecting black chickens to go after your communities, to destroy your communities. Be careful, guys, with black chicken. Be careful with the black chicken guy. Be careful. It's not worth it. I'm out of here. Wayne Caesar, thank you so much for your time. And to all of you, thank you all as well. And Wayne will be on tomorrow, 7 o'clock. Thank you, Wayne. See you. Yep. Wayne Caesar there for you guys. And it is what it is. Hey, it is what it is. For those of you who celebrated your birthday over the weekend, celebrating your birthday, whether you're celebrating it today, yesterday, whenever, it's Martin Luther King's birthday too. It's a holiday on Monday. And guess what? For those of you who sent out birthday greetings to Jonathan Anthony Benchop, he wants you guys to know that he appreciates it. He's thankful to all of you, and so am I. We're all thankful to you guys. But looking at Guyana now, we've got to continue to pray for Guyana. Monday, Trump is sworn in. Trump is going to be sworn in, 12 o'clock. A lot of people are somewhat nervous about the immigration side of things. Let me just say to you guys, if you haven't filed for your citizenship, now is the time to do it. I repeat, if you haven't filed for your citizenship, now is the time to do it. Some of you have procrastinated way too long. Whatever it is, we will see what happens on Monday. But be prepared. There will be a lot of executive orders, and the courts are going to be busy. Advocates, immigration advocates are going to be busy as well. So be careful, guys. And be careful with those black chickens as well. I love you all. God bless you. And see you on Monday. But Wayne Caesar is going to be on tomorrow, 7 o'clock. Again, let me say to you guys, do not be fooled by black chicken, because the black chicken look like the very person that's handing out the 400 black chickens and insult the persons of African descent. The PPP regime has no respect for black folks in Guyana. So long. God bless.
Them still one more. No nuts. Them still one more. The more them get it, and the more them want it. Lord knows. Some even try to take his father's life, yes, just to achieve the beat. Lord knows. Talking about contracts. It's gonna let a lot of them search the floor more and more. Talking about contracts. The more them get it, them stay one more. Now the pusher was away upon his ups and downs. Men are like jackets all over town. No noise. Sit press man to settle down. Surely gonna put him down. No noise. Talking about contracts. It's gonna let a lot of them search the floor more and more. Talking about contracts. The more them get it, them stay one more. Them stay one more. Give it up, Mr. Chico. Give it up.